how you prepared yourself. Did you do some of your own research and eventually you found Justin? I'd like to hear a little bit about that process, about what you actively did outside of the attorneys, outside of what the prosecutors were doing. What did you do?
How I got to Justin was over the internet, and I just basically called him up one day. And I said, look, I'm lost in this journey, because you get totally lost. Everything in my life was stripped away. I had no companies left. The woman I was with over a 22-year period had left. I had left. I lived up in Wisconsin in Lake Geneva. I went and I moved in with my 95-year-old mother. I started taking care of her. And through this whole thing, I had lost everything. Through that period, I didn't work. I couldn't at that point work. They wanted me to go get a job, but I've never worked for anybody. So as I was going through the journey, I was doing more research, and what I learned from Justin was, number one, you can rewrite your narrative. Number two, you need to accept responsibility in terms of what had happened, which I had done that. Not right after I pled guilty. It took me quite a while to accept the fact, in talking to Justin, that I had to accept responsibility for what had happened, and that your life is going to change, but you can absorb it all and you can get through it. And the more I talked to him, I can honestly say every time I had conversations with Justin and we did more work, he did step up to the plate and he helped me tremendously.
In what ways did Justin talk with you to kind of ease the anxieties that you were feeling about going into this system?
So the way I look at it, I sort of got pulled down a rat hole, had to defend myself, and telling the judge that story said a lot. From not only you and Justin recommended doing a sentencing video. When I got to prison, nobody did a sentencing video. They're like, what's a sentencing video? So I told the history of my life. I rewrote my narrative. I explained, and I sent a letter to the judge, not only that got put into the PSR, but explained who I was. And at the end of the day, however we put all that together, which came out of Justin and you and the history, let the judge know who I was.
And what kind of influence did that preparation and work that you did prior to sentencing, how did that influence the outcome? What were you, let's put it this way, what were you expecting to get, or what did your attorneys kind of condition you to anticipate with regard to a sentence before you started working with Justin?
In my indictment, through the whole time, they never said anything other than 3 to 5 years.
And then you began working with Justin, you told your story, you helped the judge understand a lot more about who you are as a human being, as an individual, and then the judge was able to take that information into their deliberations. And what was the outcome? What happened at sentencing?
And it was really emotional for me. I mean, the whole process was emotional for me, but I got to tell how I felt about it. I got to say, and through my narrative and through everything, I accepted responsibility. I never said that I was not responsible for any of this. And she sentenced me to 4 months, and I spent hours and hours with them. And then I get in front of the judge, and I only received 4 months. And the judge tells me that she wants me to go into prison and reflect on my life. So
So you got 4 months instead of 3 to 5 years.